This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad and live today. This is the week that's dreaded by kids and celebrated by parents alike. The chatter of young people will echo through our neighborhoods as the yellow buses once again rumble down our streets. Schedules will become more predictable as parents will have to be flexible with their own time in order to accommodate the needs of their children. Yes, it's back to school week as our youth begin a new year of learning and friendships. This time of year is rather predictable, isn't it? I mean, school supplies need to be ordered, a fresh new outfit needs to be purchased for that first day of school, bedtimes are adjusted, or in some cases they are implemented in order to prepare our kids for their rude awakening later in the week. Even at the church that I serve, we have blessing of the backpacks and we have back to school swim parties in order to help celebrate our students and to remind them that they are loved and cared for and will be prayed for throughout the upcoming year. The thing is, some of our older kids, they've been getting ready for this week for quite some time. Extracurricular activities for the fall require additional practice time, whether it's a sport, band, color guard, theater, or whatever, robbing these poor children of a few weeks of their precious summer, all for the sake of being ready and prepared. My two younger kids will be playing volleyball and football this fall, and their preparation for their sports, well, it's been a constant this summer. They both have spent some time with a personal trainer to help them with their speed and agility, their footwork and strength, and their jumping. They want to be ready for their upcoming seasons. Now, when I was over at the fitness center last week, I noticed a saying that was painted on the wall that serves as a motivation for those who are training. It says, "If we stay ready, then we don't have to get ready." Now, as it pertains to our faith lives, where might you fall on the continuum of readiness? Have you been staying ready for Jesus, or do you still have to get ready? Jesus encourages his disciples to invest their hearts and live fully into God's reign by staying ready. He uses the story of a master who attends a wedding banquet and who expects his servants to be ready to welcome him home when he returns. Jesus says, "Be dressed for action and have your lamps lit. Be like those who are waiting for their master to return from the wedding banquet, so that they may open the door for him as soon as he comes and knocks. Blessed are those slaves whom the master finds alert when he comes." The master expects his servants to always be ready and to serve him, just as Jesus expects us to be ready for his arrival. Now, we don't know when Jesus will come to us again. No one knows that but the Father in heaven. So the best course of action is to be ready so we don't have to get ready. Because getting ready could be a scramble and an epic failure. I remember one year Lindsay and I were hosting our annual Christmas open house for our congregation. It was a Sunday afternoon and the doorbell rang. I answered the door to see a House of Prayer member standing there dressed in festive clothing, a huge smile on her face and a bottle of wine in her hand. "Merry Christmas," she proclaimed, for she was ready to get the party started. But the fact of the matter was, we weren't ready to host her yet. The party was slated for the following week. She was a week early. I would have loved to welcome her into our home, but the place was a mess. We barely had any food in the refrigerator, and I was stinky and sweaty because I had just finished mowing the lawn. We weren't ready for her, or for anyone for that matter. She would just have to come back next week. Now, I don't think any of us would want to tell Jesus to just come back next week. Yeah, just come back when I'm ready. You know, when it's most convenient for me, when it works for my schedule. We need to stay awake and alert, ready for him at all times by living fully in his ways. Now, we touched on this concept of living fully in Jesus last week as we heard the parable of the rich man who had so many crops he didn't know what to do with them. He decided that the best course of action would be to tear down his current barns and build bigger ones. That seems like a lot of work to me, especially when the easier route would be to give some of his crops away to share with those who might not have any. But the mental hurdle of extending a generous hand, that was just too great for this rich man. Jesus shows us to what extreme he would go to live fully as he gives up his life on the cross in order that we might have life with God forever. That is a gift that cannot be replicated, no matter how committed we might be. But we can live fully in him, even if it is just a fraction of that. We can live fully in him by walking in his ways down paths that are going to push us to share the way he would share, to serve the way he would serve, to love the way that he would love, to live the way he would live. Jesus wants us to simply change our viewpoint and to think outwardly instead of inwardly. He wants us not to build bigger barns for all our stuff, but to share our resources and gifts and talents with those who don't have as much. And this isn't a share one time and then sit back and wait and see if Jesus will come type of a moment. It's a lifestyle, a way of living that is marked with the impressions of Jesus. It's an active living, not passive. We shoulder the responsibility. We raise up our neighbors and make them better each and every day. We fully embrace the love of God found in Jesus Christ, then live it out by lighting our lamps and letting God's light shine to the world. That unexpected knock on the door, guess what? It's Jesus. So don't be alarmed. Don't be surprised, because he has promised us the kingdom, his kingdom. Jesus says in the Gospel of Luke, "Do not be afraid, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give alms. Make purses for yourselves that do not wear out, an unfailing treasure in heaven, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Jesus is giving us a gift like no other. His sacrifice opens up a realm of possibilities for all believers who want to experience the richness and the fullness of our caring and compassionate God. The Lord is coming, and if we stay ready, we don't have to get ready. Amen. Remember as you go about your day that yesterday is gone. Tomorrow does not yet belong to you. So why not live today, knowing that you never walk alone? We'll see y'all next week. Later.